I was in the Air Force for 20 years, 72 to 92. I was in the heavy radars, which we did evaluation of air crews for bombing capability for the Pentagon. And the rest of the time we were training all over the United States. I was in a weird outfit that normally you don't stay stable in the air military, and I was stable. My daughter started school in Hastings, Nebraska, and graduated in Hastings, but I was gone a lot. So basically that's for 20 years. Only two places stationed, Hastings, Nebraska, and Lahona, Colorado. I talked to you earlier, and I remember when my wife was pregnant with my daughter, we went to Dyess Air Force Base, and on the way down, we had a wheel bearing go out on the vehicle, and a guy worked real hard and filed it down because he couldn't get the part, manually fitted it. Then I got to the bomb wing, and then I realized I was being thrown to the wolves with the bomb wing with all the officers. And I was only a buck sergeant at the time. And the bomb wing commander just said, tear into him and let him know what's going on. And it turned out to be a pretty good experience. But it was kind of in the middle of the summer with a pregnant wife, and end up with 100-degree heat and no car. The outfit I was in, you had to depend on your wife to be a strong woman, because you maybe go to work in the morning and be gone that afternoon for 30 days. And she had to take all the covers for it. And hard for me is I had to learn I couldn't jump right into being a father when I come home, because I had to figure out where we were at. So I didn't contradict her commands. Back in '96, we was having some situation with the son. I was working in commercial construction and traveling, and I decided I wanted to be stable because he was young. He's 6'3" when he was in junior high. We came down here and run a motel for 4 years, so you still don't know anybody in the community because you run a motel, everybody's transit going in and out. And then just suddenly the owner of the motel decided it was time to combine the two hotels he had here to cut costs, so we were unemployed. I ended up going to college, and I worked for a traveling tour bus. I drove tour bus for 5 years. So I've been almost everywhere you can think of across Canada and Alaska with it. And then, I don't know, I can't remember exactly when my wife fell and got hurt. And I said, I got to come home. It's time to come home, on the road. I'd see her every 3 or 4 weeks. And I got back home and was working for the oil company down here. And rolled a truck, and it was in my neck, and I found I had cancer. I just kind of feel God had his hands in there, because while I was laid up, I had some cyst on my neck, and I thought I'd find out what it was and get it taken care of. And they said it was cancer. So he got that taken care of. And then towards the end of it, I started having shakes, and we thought, well, because chemo, they tell us, will eat at the nerves and cause you to have jitters. And then they found out I had Parkinson's. So cancer was no real problem no more, because he could cure it. And then later, I thought I was having sciatic nerve problems. They did an MRI and found out I had
spinal stenosis.
Spinal stenosis. And we haven't dealt with that yet because just can't afford it. So I go down for a PET scan and it's verified that the cancer's gone and it's trying to keep it in remission. It's $8,000 a shot. And I went to work one morning. I don't know how it transpired, but anyhow, I ended up retiring suddenly from the company because they were scared of me working in the oil field anymore. And I can't blame them.
You were climbing in and out of a truck 100+ times a day.
Yeah.
Fall risk.
Well, I just couldn't get up, can't lift your leg up that many times, and especially a ton and a half ton, 3/4 ton. They worked there, everything they could care of. They got to the point where I'd find a problem, I have to call it in, just send somebody else. Somebody else was doing my job, so it wasn't fair to the company either. And I guess we just got continual problems here I can't take care of because the house situation is. We bought it and no one always had some problems and the bank was going to help us, and then suddenly just with the economy the bank said they couldn't help us. And there's probably other things that's not necessary to be talking about, but I've got to fix the back porch so I can get at the laundry room upstairs because the leak down there is wet. And they told me not to go down anymore. My wife can't do it because she's got problems too. It's all went to hell in 5 years. My daughter came up with this with her girlfriend, and I tried to stay neutral of it because I don't want them to do that. Just so that make sure you cover your backside because I don't want nobody to come after you. What you're doing is admirable, but
The event. It is the Generous Locals versus the Harlem Ambassadors, which is the descendants of the Harlem Globetrotters. They travel all 50 states and several countries. They have been hired to come here and play for a benefit game, and it'll be held March 3rd at Chanut's Old High School, which is now the Aquatic Center, at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:15. It's the benefits being held to help a local veteran with different medical necessities, as in making his house handicap accessible. Actually, it was brought to my attention by Leanne O'Brien, which has been a big help in this whole ordeal. She actually works for CMB Banks, and she has a lot of connections, which has helped. But she said we were trying to find a way to do benefits versus like soup lines or just put out jars or, and she said, well, look at their website and see what they got to offer. So I did, and I got in connection with Jared, which is one of their sales reps. And I told him what I was doing with this foundation, and he actually suggested to me that if it's a go and we can make a go of it, that they would sign on to come back every year to help another vet every year, which was amazing to me because if they're willing to do that, and they gave me the reduced rate, which was awesome. And the reason that I'm helping Gary, which is my father, is because he is one of those veterans that falls in limbo with age versus income, and not that he's not using the VA benefits that are supplied to him, but there's just things that they haven't been able to get covered at this time, which are, we're in the process of, but at this time are not covered, that need to be done, like now, before someone gets hurt. And so not only am I helping Gary at this time, but I also have a local gentleman up in Iowa that I'm helping. I'm not going to mention names at this time, but I asked why he was calling the foundation, and he told me that he was needing a door hung. And I asked if I could ask what his disability was, without intruding too much, and he said, I have one arm. It made sense to me that he would need help. And before the conversation was over, he was in tears. And I thought, there's no reason for a person to cry over hanging a door. Not when I have a husband and a son or my father even, that could go do this. So that's what my foundation's for, is to help those vets that need that extra help, that can't get the USA grants because of their income basis, or can't get the SRS Medicare disability because they aren't 62, or, that's the reason I'm doing it. The name of the foundation is Make a Wish Come True for the Red, White, and Blue for Disabled Vets. They can contact myself, Andrea Northcutt, at 620-380-1689, or the other two contact people on it are my brother, Aaron Cookus, and his number is 620-212-0343, or Leanne O'Brien, but she's going through Community National Bank, so we don't give out a number for her, but primarily myself for a contact person. And if they're interested in tickets on these games, that I will mail them if they just get a hold of me. If you friend me on Facebook, then I have a foundation set up there that they can get information on. They can go through Craigslist, they can go through the Allen County Swap and Shop.
But we've always talked about when I retired, I somehow get the word out to the retired folks not to fight with the local communities, but just help people out, because there's a lot of times they can't afford to hire a contractor to come in and put a window in or a door in. And I'd find out what the legal, what the city would be to do it, and just go put it in. You know, and all they have to do is pay for the door, and we'll install it or do whatever to help. Because the economy's getting tighter and tougher. And it doesn't have to be retired military either. I'm not looking to be specialist because I chose to spend 20 years. But just help anybody. Like this gentleman she's talking about, I'm glad to go over. As long as the VA does, or not the VA, but the Social Security doesn't decide that I'm breaking the rules, because disability, you're only allowed to work so many dollars an hour,
It's non-profit.
and that's nonprofit. I'm not trying to make any money, and I can sit down when I need to sit down. I don't, you know, I putz around in my shop and build stuff for people that fix stuff or little odds and ends. I've never charged anybody because I can't. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to risk away the benefits. But I do want to help people. And I think there's more people out there like me than people know about. They just don't know how to go about it. When my daughter started, and I told her, the only way I'd accept this, any kind of help, is if she allows me to have be part of it for the next one.